Hi, third graders, it's Mrs. B. Can you guess by looking at my computer what we will be talking about this week? If you guessed pets, you are correct. Now, to do this week's art project, you definitely don't have to have a pet. You just have to think about what pet you would get if you could pick any pet in the world. So this is, of course, Oreo, my kitty cat. And she is the pet that I have. I love animals, and if I could get another pet, it would be a golden retriever. So for this project, if you don't have a pet at home, you can certainly ask a grown-up to help you and just do a Google search for whatever pet you really wish you could have. So because I have Oreo, I didn't want her to be offended if I made a picture of a golden retriever. So I did an Oreo portrait. We are going to be talking about animals in art and portraits. So in art class, we learned about portraits. And if you do a portrait of yourself, we know that's called a self-portrait. If you do a portrait of another person, that's just called a portrait. But a portrait does not have to just be a person. A portrait can be an animal. You can look at your pet or a pet you wish you had, and you can make a picture of that pet, and it is a portrait, because a portrait is a picture of a living thing that is not yourself. A self-portrait is you. A portrait is any living thing that you decide to make art about. So here's my picture of Oreo. Now to make my Oreo picture, it's a little tricky because I'm really used to doing portraits of people, but not often animals. So your first job is to see the big shapes. So her head is pretty round. And then on her head, she has a little circle here. You can see her little chin. It's like another circle. And her ears are triangles. And her body is sort of a big oval, but we can only see part of it. So it's sort of just a curved line and a pretty straight line. So to start your pet portrait, you're going to just draw those basic shapes. The circle, the circles for her eyes, Oreo. Her triangle ears, the curved line, the straight line. And as you go on, you can add details with crayons and color it the color of your pet. You can do markers, you can do colored pencils, you can do paint. I did a painting of Oreo and I wrote purr, purr, purr all around her. And that's because I've been looking at some animal portraits and I made you a PDF if you're interested in seeing some famous portraits of animals from the art history world. This is by Andy Warhol, who we've talked a little bit about in art class. Andy Warhol is most well known for his silkscreen prints, but early in his career, before the 1960s, he did a whole series of kitty cat drawings. He did black ink with watercolor, and he had a bunch of Siamese cats. And he made this one that's called Blue Sam with a Rose. So it's an ink drawing with watercolor over it, and you could get this same look by using a Sharpie marker at home and putting watercolor over it. And then he added little gold leaf foil roses on his kitty cat's collar. Isn't that adorable? You could actually add that with some aluminum foil if you wanted to cut out some flowers for your pet. This is the one I was inspired by. This is called So Happy, and it shows his kitty cat with purring all around it. This is a really cool one that shows you don't have to make it look exactly like your pet. This is called Blue Dog, and it's from 1984 by George Rodriguez. And he is an American artist who's no longer alive, but he lived and worked in New Orleans. And his dog was not really blue. It was I think it was called a blue heeler, but they're not really that bright blue in real life, but he changed it a little. And this is a very famous dog. He did lots of pictures of his dog. This one I think is just adorable. It's called Sarah Holding a Cat, and it's by Mary Cassatt, who painted lots of beautiful pictures of children and animals. So you could include yourself if you wanted. You could make a self-portrait of you with a portrait of your pet. And that's exactly what's in our last one. We'll go back to that doggy, by Frida Kahlo. And it's me and my parrots. So it's a self-portrait of Frida with her parrots. And last but not least, we have a very formal and important looking dog. Thomas Hughes Hinckley painted lots of dog portraits in the 1800s, and they're all oil paint on canvas. They're all very, very realistic, and it includes many different types of dogs. So, your job is a portrait of a pet, or a portrait of a pet you wish you had. All right, so if you have any questions, as always, you can email me. Don't they look so cute together? I think we need a golden retriever at my house. Mr. B doesn't agree. We'll see. If you have any questions, you can email me, or you can certainly write me a question on Google Classroom. When you're finished, click Mark as Done, so I know that you did a pet portrait. If you want to take a photo and attach it, that's great. If not, you can write in your comment, I did a portrait of my cat, Oreo, and I used watercolors. You can tell me what you did for your pet portrait. That's all from Mrs. B for this week. I miss you guys so much. I hope you're having a great time making art at home, and I can't wait to see pictures of your pets. Bye.